What's up, everybody? We are back. Welcome to the Buzz Club. I'm your host, Honeybee, and we have a few good, fine gentlemen on the show today. I'm doing something a little different here. I'm trying to start something new in which we can talk about the male and the female species in an open and candid way. So I have an all-male panel here today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you. Come on, don't talk at once.
Hi, I'm David Anderson, youth motivational speaker at Like a Hater.
Hi, my name's Aaron Phillips Scott. I'm a youth leader at _AP Scott.
How you doing? My name is Yusuf Muhammad, filmmaker, photographer, and I also basically book concerts in the city of Philadelphia and New York at Yusuf Yui.
All right, guys. I've been hearing this a lot, especially in the city of Philadelphia, where it seems like we're very soulful and very connected. So I hear like men say like, act like a queen, or you're my queen. So I'm thinking like, what's your definition of a queen?
If you play chess, you know that the queen is the most important piece on the board. Okay. And its main job is to protect the king. And so at the end of the day, the queen physically has more power than the king. The king can only make one move at a time because he has a lot resting on his shoulders. So it's up to the queen to hold that man down. And most women aren't ready to do that, but they want all the perks of ruling the kingdom. And that's just not going to happen.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. There are females that do hold queen standards. Like, what are some attributes? Throw some attributes out there. What's so hard about being a queen? Anyone can be a queen, right? No?
Nah, not the kind of queen you talk about. There's plenty of queens out here, but not those.
Okay, so what's a queen? What attributes? It's kind of like also asking like, what is a virtuous woman? Kind of like when somebody told me, this guy was like, oh, I haven't met any virtuous women today. What is that? Like, what's a woman of virtue?
I'm gonna say humble, secure. Mm-hmm. When I say secure, I say confident. Yeah. Understands herself, what it is that she believes in, how she goes about carrying that out, not only in her words but also in her actions.
I would say class, grace. Someone who has a sense of self, definitely someone who loves herself, because that then translates to her teaching you as well how to love yourself as a man. And then someone who's respectful of what you want to do, your visions, your kind of
and kind of supportive.
Wants to be that backbone, but allows you to also be a man and kind of and support yourself, right?
So how does that? How do some women kind of like emasculate men?
Well, I've always said that sass without class is disrespect. So that's just how I feel. Like, you can be sassy, but if you don't have any class, it just comes off as disrespectful. Okay.
A way that I find myself being in a place where my masculinity may be jeopardized. Good way to put it. Not that a woman is going to emasculate me, but being in a situation where now I have been sought, for some type of like guidance or leadership, right. Or she's asking me, how are we going to go about this, or what do you want to do, and then you just dismiss everything that I just said to you.
So
we talk about it and
not
then
really
it gets blown off.
To you, especially when you're trying to help her grow.
See, now there's a misconception that women don't listen. It's women all listen. Every last single woman listens. Every last single adult female listens. The problem is they're not listening to gain understanding. They're listening to respond. And when you're looking for a response or a debate as a man, I'm not going to give you one. Because at the end of the day, if you don't like it, there's the door. I don't have a whole lot of time for rigmarole. Yes. I really don't.
And I think that's honest. I think that sometimes we live in a society where because of social norms, everything is kind of portrayed as what's false reality. And what he just said is realistic. It's honest. As a man, I'm going to tell you, look, this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be to you. If you want this, come get this. If you don't want it, you can be gone.
Right. So what about the women who seem to be doing all that and have it together?
It's the ones who have a problem, who don't have their stuff together, or the ones who I like to call too late to the flight and they have way too much baggage so they can't go on the trip with me. It's never the ones who are virtuous. It's never the ones who are honest. It's the truth. It's the honest to God truth. And y'all don't want to hear that because unfortunately, you judge every woman by your standards as opposed to how the majority sees it. Here's an example. We like to talk about stereotypes. Oh, black people don't do this and black people don't. Yes, we do. Listen, the majority of black people like fried chicken. Now, I know black people who are vegetarians, but if you ask the majority of black people in this room, if they like fried chickens, just about every hand's gonna go up. That means the general consensus is this is how these people behave. And I'm sorry, you are a rarity. You're the exception and not the rule. And until the rule gets countered and checked by the exception, you're gonna be held to the standards of the rule except for the exception.
The reality is that the majority aren't queens, or the majority aren't perfect, because I always say this: we're all born damaged. We all, just because of just our state and where we are in the society. So you have to be you just really have to be more realistic. I tell women that all the time. You are a rarity. If the majority of the women who think they're just the most amazing person on the planet are not.
Nope.
They're so far from what men need, or what even a young man would need to become a man.
Absolutely.
I say that part of, we're talking about being emasculated or whatever. A lot of times, the men, we're doing it to ourselves. As a man, this brother mentioned, I'm not going to go through the rigmarole. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm going to tell you what it is I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. Then as a man, it's your opportunity and your duty now to carry that out. And when you fail to do that, now you've just put your word in jeopardy.
Exactly.
You've put yourself as a man now questionable. She knows that she can push some buttons and you're going to fold.
Absolutely. You have to be genuine. You have to be true to who you are. That's that's something that even I was raised from my father. It was that he was always saying that women don't like the truth, but they prefer it.
Absolutely.
So you have to be true to your word.
Absolutely.
But what about the men who seemingly are afraid of commitment?
Those aren't men.
Why so many women single?
Those aren't men.
Those are not men, and that's your problem. Y'all,
That's
it goes the same way. Y'all look at all of these guys and think, oh, because they are 18 or over, that all of a sudden they woke up one day with manhood. The mothers are raising these boys to be punks. The mothers are raising these boys to do this and do that and do this and do that and be everything that your damn daddy wasn't. Unfortunately, daddy is the only one who can teach a man how to be a man. And until manhood makes a comeback, you're going to keep having these issues. But you waste so much time looking for the float with Mr. Universe on it that you miss the entire parade and then wonder why all these men do this. You allow them to.
I remember having a conversation with a bunch of young men in the city who kind of do we all kind of are like the movers and shakers in the city, and we were having this conversation about relationships, and that it was a somewhat bittersweet conversation, because we basically all came to the consensus we're all between 25 and 28 that we're just going to be single, that we just mainly because of who we are is considered to be too good to be true. So even when we do approach. So I've always said this, I said that actual good men who have a lot of options don't care very often. So when we do, you have to value that. And the reason why we have so many options is because I guess the pool of good men, I'm not gonna lie, even as a man, I'll say there are some straight knuckleheads out here.
Yeah. A lot of them.
Some straight knuckleheads, and they are the example of what not to be with, of what not to go for. That's what they are, period.
I mean, look at the show Love and Hip Hop. People watching Stevie J on TV.
Of course.
If you guys are familiar with this VH1 reality series, which people are enraged about because they feel that it's definitely not a great representation of what most African American women are or men are. It's just like what is on this TV.
Well,
and we have Stevie J and people.
Whose fault is Stevie J? Stevie J was created by Mimi, by Jocelyn, by all these women who have allowed Stevie J for 2 to 3 decades to do exactly what he's done. Men can only do what women allow them to do to them. Hold on, let me finish my thought. When as soon as women take responsibility for that, and I'm not saying that you're to blame, but what I'm saying is I'm not going to let this brother punch me in the mouth unchecked. Do you understand that? That means I'm going to monkey stomp him. Now, if I sit back with my hands behind my back and I'm just like, I deserve every hit I get because I made no effort to defend myself or set the standards for what I feel comfortable with.
And those of us who do stand up and set the standard
don't have a problem.
Get left alone. They're like, she's too much work. She's too oh no.
Those are not men.
This is coming back to what you're saying about the commitment piece. First, for somebody to commit to somebody else, they got to be committed to themselves.
How about it?
Right? So, does a man know who he is? Does he know really what he's about? Is he really committed to himself, knowing that these are the things that I'm going to do, these are the things that I'm not going to do, this is what I'm going to put up with, this is what I'm not going to put up with? Is he a solid leader so that he can actually be followed? A lot of times we're out here as men wanting to be followed, but our leadership and the paths that we're taking on the people, is over here, and then it goes over there, and then I want to hold you close, and now I don't. And so, are you committed to yourself as a man?
Forward, 1 step
and my
back.
question is always going to be to the brother: yo, look at yourself. in the mirror when you see yourself. Who are you? Do you know who you are?
Right.
Because I'm about us finding it within ourselves and bringing it out one person at a time, and then we go forth and we can lead others.
So what role does your faith play in your relationships and in your lives, period? Faith.
For me, I was raised under the Islamic, kind of the Islamic kind of, I guess, view of like marriage, being married early, committing, being in a relationship. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more spiritual as to the way that I look at things. A lot of it, and I'm also geared away from the whole, like, the man is the ruler. Like, I kind of got away from that ideology and really, really garnered this massive amount of respect for the power that women have as far as helping you grow. Like, I'm 26 years old, and last year when I was 25 was the first time I ever was, like, truly friends with a young lady, dated her, and was, like, with her, like, for a long time. Now, it didn't work out, but just that experience changed my life, like completely changed my entire life. So for me, I kind of take more of a spiritualistic perspective of when it comes to relationships, and just really, someone who makes it clear that God is definitely a priority in their life, and that becoming who they want to be as a person is definitely a priority in their life, and someone who just is all about garnering blessings and being a blessing to you. That's the type of for me, that's the role that it kind of plays for me and with me.
For me, with in terms of faith is this thing that's guiding my entire life, every single thing I do, right? So certainly my relationships will be a part of that. Christian faith, so being now connected, reconciled to God through faith in Jesus Christ, right? That He died on the cross, raised again on the third day, and then His Holy Spirit came back, now dwells within me once I believe that. So as a man, and in accordance with biblical teaching, the man is the creature of power, and the female, the woman, is the creature of influence. Both equally important, equally strong, equally powerful. And what we have to, each one of us, do is stay within our roles, and also be keeping God first, and the biblical teaching first, and the principles of the Bible first.
How about that?
And when we're chasing after God, we're not trying to please one another. We're chasing after God. And once we enter into an institution of marriage, now us chasing after God, we're going to come together because we're going towards the same path. I'm not trying to get you to do this. You're not trying to get me to do that. Meanwhile, we're losing sight of the big picture. So with faith guiding my relationship, seeking God, how does He intend for me to conduct myself? A man is supposed to be to his wife as Christ was to the church.
Come on.
Putting himself on the line for them. And I think about the times I've been late for church, or I didn't want to, maybe I didn't want to get dressed a certain kind of way, or I didn't want to be involved in this meeting and that meeting and the other meeting. But now I'm going to turn around and expect my woman, this woman that I'm asking to enter into a covenant with me, to be on time for every single thing, and to be dressed exactly the way I wanted to, and da-da-da-da-da. But I haven't even done it. So again, we have to check ourselves. And so that's where I'm drawn.
Ooh. Ladies, you see this? This is what you're talking about right here. These are men on the panel. Let's go.
For me, it's one of those things, it's like he said, a man is supposed to be the head of the household, and he is supposed to love his wife like Jesus loved the church. Not his girlfriend, not his baby mama, not his jump off, not his bust down. And see, when you put yourself in a bust down, baby mama, jump off position or girlfriend position, you'll never be a wife, at least not the kind of wife that you need to be. And you can't equate what you do as a girlfriend, a bust down, a jump off, a baby mama, to what you're supposed to do as a wife. And a lot of times we get so caught up in the end result that we forget to run the race. And that in and of itself is problematic for both men and women. See, if you want to be the head of the household, that means that you are responsible for every single soul under your care. You are the spiritual leader of your household. You are the pope of your house. And until such time as you're ready to step up to that responsibility, you can't really call yourself a man. So
be sure to watch more of The Buzz Club every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Philadelphia's Comcast, Channel 66, and Verizon, Channel 29.